Hello everybody, my name's Nick from Rational Gamers and this is Martytron!
Yo guys!
And this is the weekly Rational Webcast for the 29th of February 2016. This week we're talking about Steam VR test and all the lovely juice to come out of that. We're talking about Gabe Newells being a boss. Shut up, Marty. We're talking about Nintendo Direct and Pokemon. We're talking about Resident Evil. We're talking about Naughty Dog. And we're talking about Mortal Kombat. So, how is your week going this week, Marty? I'm just going to keep talking until my brain shuts up, so bye.
I'm fine, thank you very much. I have had a relatively uninteresting week. How about yourself?
No, nothing much has happened.
Wow, what a blinding start. Let's carry on. let's maintain this pace.
I didn't nearly run into Shia LaBeouf this time.
No, we've got no Shia LaBeouf related stories. Maybe we should stalk him a little bit more heavily next time.
Wasn't stalking him, he just come to my town. So.
Oh yeah, just happened to wander into your basement. Get tangled in ropes.
He fell into those handcuffs.
Whoa. Things suddenly got sexual.
Not sexual, never mind.
Didn't he do like a live sex performance in one of his films?
What?
I'm pretty sure there's a film in which he genuinely has sex with somebody.
That's called a porno.
Yeah. It's just well edited. Yeah, I'm 99% sure.
Well edited porno can be considered theatre, movie grade, cinema release kind of. Well, this is Shia LaBeouf I'm talking about. He is the guy that sat on a help desk, rode up and down in an elevator, and starred in a Transformers film. So, what can you do?
See, right up until the end, we had so much in common.
What, the Transformers film?
But then he had the Transformers film and just blew me out of the water. Damn you, Shia LaBeouf!
Ah! Can we talk about gaming?
Yeah, let's go for it. So, Steam VR test teases Half-Life 3 and Left 4 Dead details.
Yes, there is a Steam VR test that's been put up on Steam, but that's not just basically to see if your computer can handle it. That's not the interesting bit, though.
I mean, it's kind of cool. Shall we talk about the Steam VR first of all, what it is?
No!
Why not? It's kind of cool.
You can if you want, but that's not the actually interesting bit. Yeah, they released a program that tested whether your computer was capable of running it.
Yeah, and it was all set in essentially what is Portal 2's universe, with Atlas coming in and kind of becoming dissected. It was pretty cool.
You can do the dismantling, can't you?
Yeah.
But it's all been ported into Source 2 as well, so...
Yeah, it's fully running in Source 2. It's the only thing that's running in Source 2 other than Dota 2, isn't it? But it was pretty nice. It's quite pretty. And it's the thing that people saw around about a year ago when you first saw the HTC Vive. So, yeah, it's nice that we finally got it. Interestingly, though, it will tell you that your computer is able to run VR regardless of how poor your CPU is, because it doesn't test your CPU at all. It only tests your graphics card, effectively.
Yeah.
So it may tell you that your computer is capable of running VR, but in reality, you're almost certainly screwed.
Well, we're not.
No.
Because we spent too much on our computers.
Yeah, I still need to update I still need to overclock my processor, to be fair.
Yeah, especially so. What processor have you actually got?
I don't know what it's called.
Fantastic!
Good times.
You're a real computer guy, you are.
I don't care what it's called. Why does anybody care what processor I have in my computer?
Because then you get to know how good it is. You can't just go around saying, oh, it's an i7. That doesn't really tell you anything.
Yeah, but why does it matter?
Because some are more powerful than others.
Do
you know whether it's at least an i7 or an i5 or...
It's an AMD.
AMD. Is it even Intel? Is it AMD?
It's AMD.
Oh, it's AMD.
Which means that single core is useless, but multi-core is pretty cool.
Well, my multi-core is good as well because it's got automatic multi-threading.
But isn't yours like an i7?
Yeah, mine's an i7 5820K, is it?
So it should be pretty good.
It's not bad. It's got 6 cores.
Mine's got 6 cores.
Oh!
So,
that was a really weird sound.
So, yeah, so Steam VR test came out. It was a pretty interesting thing. Nobody was kind of expecting it, and it came out of the blue. Don't eat, you douche. I can hear you rustling. And then, yeah, and then we suddenly come out with this. So what do you think, Nick?
I think, like I say, I'm not really that interested in the actual program.
Oh no, I've just said that. You'd know that if you weren't eating.
I wasn't eating. I just got a biscuit out for preparing to eat.
Come on.
Basically, this test program came out, and as people do, they dissected it, pulled apart the code and everything, had all the folders, and found in it a bunch of interesting things relating to Left 4 Dead 3 and Half-Life 3. Stuff we've not actually seen before, including new characters for Left 4 Dead, and new kind of game mechanics, including a day-night cycle, and a nocturnal is what it's called, which implies that it's some kind of special infected that only comes out during night. Kind of like Dying Light. The interesting thing is the fact that the Half-Life 3 stuff was that there was a mesh of a new character. Nobody has any idea of what the character's actually for, but it's there. It's something we've not seen before, and suggests that there is actually development going on in some way, shape, or form. There was also some space, kind of spaceship kind of mechanics and models for what's presumed to be Valve's cancelled game Stars of Blood, which would be pretty cool. I don't know why that was cancelled, because it sounds pretty cool. But we also have a few other bits like for Half-Life, including the weapons spy grenade. I don't know what that is. And something else called the crowbar zipline, which sounds completely badass. What I found really interesting, though, is there was references to quest giver NPCs. Now, there's been speculation that Half-Life 3 might go down the side of being kind of a quest-based RPG type thing. Like, say, nothing's sure, but this is kind of like the first kind of solid evidence of that. Basically, what I want to take away from it is it looks like these things are actually in development, and Valve is learning to count to 3, at the very least.
One thing I'm taking away from this is the fact that Valve are painfully aware that whenever they bring out anything, it will be torn apart.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not stupid enough to just put something out there and it not be looked at. And just assume that it's not going to be looked at, because that will never happen with anything that Valve ever brings out. Stop eating. So, when something like this comes out, it screams to me that they want us to look at these things. They want us to be aware of these items, which seems like a really odd thing unless it's essentially marketing.
Thing is, you never know with that.
That's what happens when you eat. Douche. Everybody wants to hear you cough.
You never know with Valve, though, because sometimes you just have things and stuff like slip through the net. Other times, stuff's left in deliberately, and they start an alternate reality game like they did with Portal 2.
Alternate reality game?
Yeah, you remember when yeah, you remember when Portal 2 came out? They had all that stuff where...
Portal 2 is really good, because they added that...
So you're just being pedantic when you ask a question?
Yeah. The thing that they added to the end of Portal 1, that was amazing. Where you suddenly got dragged off.
Oh, that was fantastic.
That was such a good touch.
It wasn't such retconning as an addition.
Yeah. Yeah,
which,
just something to tease that there will be an end. There will be something else happening.
I would thoroughly enjoy it if they did that with Episode 2, Half-Life 2 Episode 2, and didn't tell anybody, because that's completely Valve-like. They would add an after-credit scene, because at the end of Half-Life 2 Episode 2, spoiler alert, but if you haven't played it by now, then where have you been? Eli Vance gets his brain sucked out by an advisor. The dog chases off the advisors. You and Alex fall to the ground, and she crawls over to the body of her father and starts weeping and says, "Don't leave me, Dad," and then it all fades to black. I can just imagine there being something so simple as, like, just after it fades to black, a few seconds of black, and then before the credits, they just add in something with the G-Man's voice, just in the darkness or something, just teasing something.
Yeah, that would be amazing if they did something.
That would be really cool, even if it was something so simple like that.
Just something like you've been asleep for long enough, Mr. Friedman.
Yeah,
that'd be cool. So yeah, something like that would be amazing, but it's. I still think it's a long way away.
Definitely still a longer way away.
Left 4 Dead 3 sounds like it's coming along quite nicely if they've got so far as to create the new infected and things like that.
Left 4 Dead 3 is definitely going to come before Half-Life 3. That's pretty much a given at this point.
It's just a fair assumption, isn't it, now?
And I think it's pretty much a given that Left 4 Dead 3 will be coming at some point. Because there's been a lot of kind of bits and bobs around it over the past year or so. My thinking is that Half-Life 3, because it's such a big thing, it's grown into such a big issue and so anticipated, they don't really want to do anything that won't make it absolutely perfect. So they want to make sure they have everything down on the Source 2 engine perfectly sorted out. They want to make sure they've got the VR sorted out, and it's going to release as not a launch title for the VR, but a title where everything's kind of rock solid and good, and nobody can complain about it.
So are you suggesting that this is, in your mind, going to be a VR title, specifically?
Not exclusively, but I think they are going to market it towards the VR. They're going to gear it towards the VR, and there's going to be a few things. I mean, I can't see Valve saying, "Oh, it's VR only," and dicking over everybody else. That's just not how they work, as it hits me. But I think there will be stuff that will make it better in VR. That stuff to gear it towards VR. You know how certain games like Killzone 3 were geared towards the PlayStation Move and 3D, but you can still play them standardly.
Killzone 3?
Yeah.
Was it? Fair enough.
I think it was Killzone 3, yeah.
I'll bow to your greater knowledge, it's fair enough.
Bow down before my greater knowledge!
You just know you say that on the weekends. So,
it is the weekend.
Let's move along. Move along.
But staying in the realm of Valve.
Oh yeah, you want to talk about that. So what do you want to say?
I didn't actually know about this until you mentioned it, so you want to talk about this.
I didn't. This wasn't in the list. You veered from the list.
How did I veer from the list?
Veered from the list.
This is about Gabe Newell acting like a boss.
And this is about Gabe Newell saying things that I think are ever so unprofessional on a public forum.
Maybe.
So,
yes.
to give you guys
Gabe
a little bit of background
fired
here.
a guy.
Give you guys a little bit of background here.
Yes.
Essentially what happened was there was some dude named James that was at Dota 2 in Shanghai. He was one of the commentators, and after Shanghai he was fired. And quite publicly, Gabe Newell then came out on the Dota 2 Reddit, subreddit, and basically gave his reasoning for it. Just basically, James is an ass. We weren't going to bring him back for Shanghai. However, some people felt that he really should come back, so we brought him back. That was a mistake. However, he's fired. And while I'm firing people, I'm also going to fire the production company behind it. If you need me, contact me on my usual email address, Gabe.
I can't see that he was being overly unprofessional. I don't know exactly why James is an arse, but I can't see that Gabe would fire the guy for absolutely nothing. There's obviously precedence for him being fired on the spot like that. He's obviously done some at previous cons and done some at this one that's pushed him over the edge. And I've never seen Gabe Newell as somebody who's really not spoken his mind. I mean, at the end of the day, yeah, maybe if you worked for like a private company and did this, but Valve is in the public eye. It's a very open kind of thing, and this was a very public forum in which this James was acting like an arse. So I can't really complain about Gabe Newell for doing that. Maybe he could have been more tactful about it, but again, maybe this James has just been pushing his luck for so very long that he just had to come out and just be like, yeah, no, he's just a dick. That's why we let him go.
My problem isn't the fact that he's let him go. That's absolutely fine. If he's an ass, he's an ass. That's fair. My problem is that Gabe came out in a very public way and called somebody a nasty name, and that's not going to help that guy's job prospects from now on. That's not fair.
Maybe that was the intention. It's like a reference, you know. But the way it's written, it's like it was written in the heat of the moment. It's like, James, full stop. We've had issues with James at previous events. Some Valve people have lobbied to bring him back to Shanghai, feeling that he deserved another chance. That was a mistake, full stop. James is an arse, and we won't be working with him again, full stop. That says to me, it's very blunt, it's very... Gabe was angry when he wrote that.
Was he?
It seems that
matter.
way. No, I know he could have been tactful about it and been more professional about it, but still, Gabe Newell cares about his company, and James, whoever he is, obviously did something to really piss him off if he would come out and say this. And they've obviously done it. He's done it in the past. They've given him another chance. I just he is a person after all. He's entitled to his opinion. Maybe not in that way. I don't know. You can look for both sides of it.
You're aware of Spider-Man.
Yes. Okay. Where's this going? With great power comes great responsibility.
There you go.
Yes.
Gabe
okay.
is a man of great power and great girth. He should
That's not girth. That's power.
He should
carrying around.
He should be more aware of how he's throwing his weight around. That's my view on it. I don't think it was fair and right how he's done that, how he's played that. As I say, a guy can be an arse as much as he wants, but that doesn't mean that it should be without consequence. But the consequence is that he loses his job. It shouldn't mean that he doesn't get a job in future.
Have you remotely heard what British politicians say?
Oh, British politicians are some of the biggest douches out there. I have no doubt about that.
If anybody
Especially
should
Britain.
be...
God.
If anybody... Where have you gone?
I've got my blue
You've
tack
dropped
again.
your glue tack, haven't you? Yes, I knew it. If anybody should have that level of professionalism around it, it should be politicians. But they're the worst for it! I'm not being controversial in this. Everybody knows this.
Just because one person's a dick doesn't mean that everybody has a license to be a dick.
No, I know, but what I'm saying is everybody slips up now and again. And this is the first major thing that's ever come out like this about Gabe, so I think he's entitled to it. I mean, if he starts going off about constantly about, oh yeah, this guy's a dick, and constantly being unprofessional from now on, then yeah, no, that's fair enough. He shouldn't do that. But you know, this is the one and only, and he's obviously thoroughly pissed off about it. And I think, yeah, you're saying about this guy shouldn't have to have his future job prospects ruined, and I don't think they're ruined. But I think that Gabe was trying to make others aware that he can be like this, and it has been a problem. Because, yeah, this guy's entitled to a job in the future, but also his employers are entitled to know the reasons behind and what his previous employers thought of him.
That's what a reference is for. It's not what a public forum's for.
No, but references, he can't be brutally honest. You have to say things like, if you
I'm
act...
fully aware of how you have to write a reference.
Yes, you've done it.
But that doesn't...
Done it for me.
But that doesn't mean that...
But no, yeah, you have to be tactful about it. If you can't come out and say, like, oh, yeah, they were being a dick on the job. You have to say something, like, professional, like... say it in a positive way.
Yes, I mean, quite often a reference is a case of reading what's not there.
In between the lines.
Hmm.
But like I say, Gabe... it's never come across to me that Gabe overly... speaks between the lines. If he's got something to say, he will just say it. And I'm surprised he hasn't, complained about someone like this before now.
So, let's move on.
Yeah, this is
I'd say, I think it's one of those where we just agree to disagree. I feel
Well, that's
like
what
to an
this forum's
extent
for,
you're
isn't it?
blinded by love.
I'm not blinded by love. I'm trying to be fair.
I think you are effectively smitten. And I therefore think that your judgment is clouded.
My judgment
If
is
I
not
was
sound.
Spock, I would be looking at taking over the Enterprise at this moment in time.
Oh, that's cold, dude. You can't throw Star Trek at me.
So,
Yeah, but when... Spock is very rarely infallible, but when he does on a rare occasion become infallible, then he screws up in the more massive ways than anybody could possibly think about, because he's got it such under control. When he loses control, that's what the whole Vulcan thing is. They suppress their emotions because they're a barbaric and violent race by nature.
Kolinar.
Yeah, Kolinar.
Meditation.
I thought you were referring to Pomfar.
No.
Kolinar
mating.
is the ultimate purging of all emotions, whereas Pomfar is
Is it a 4-yearly mate or something like that?
7. Yeah, their blood boils with mating lust every 7 years.
7 years, sorry.
I love Star Trek.
So,
I'm watching for the original series. Forgot how good it is.
Pokemon.
Pokemon,
That's what I
gotta
was expecting.
catch 'em all.
That's what I was expecting. So,
Want me to start singing?
Pokemon Sun
Not like
and
Eagles.
Moon have been confirmed for the 3DS
Indeed.
coming this year, because it is Pokemon's 20th anniversary today, as I'm recording this.
Makes
In
me
fact,
feel ridiculously old.
it's only 20th anniversary in Japan. For us, it's like 17th anniversary.
Yeah, but it still makes me feel old.
Yeah, fair dues. So,
I remember when people bought it. There was one person brought a Staryu in school, but it was a Japanese one. He had a genuine Japanese Staryu card, and we were like, "Holy fucking shit!" That's so cool.
very much so. So, they have, they've announced these 2 new games. First of all, what they've done for the 20th anniversary, which, as I say, is today, they have released Pokemon...
Today is in for
as I'm
everybody else.
recording this.
27th.
They have released Pokemon Red, Blue, and Yellow. And they've released them to the Nintendo eShop, so that you can play them anywhere.
And funnily enough, they've left Masingo in there,
Yeah, they've left all
which
the
is so
bugs.
cool. I mean, it's ostensibly a glitch, but it become a fan favourite, and it's just great that they leave it in there.
Yeah, they
Leave it out, or they just couldn't be asked to take it out.
Yeah, it's effectively the original version, so they've left everything in there. Well, the original Western version, not the original Japanese version. That's slightly different again. So, yeah, it's pretty cool, and you are now able to, with the re-release of Pokemon Red, Blue, and Yellow, move your Pokemon across to the newer games. Because Red, Blue, and Yellow, in this instance, is able to communicate with the Pokemon Bank. So you can send your Pokemon wirelessly to the Pokemon Bank and then import them into your newer games. Say Omega Ruby, Alpha Sapphire, X and Y.
That's
That's amazing. That's the first time this has been allowed to happen. That the original generation of Pokemon is able to communicate with any of the other versions. So that's actually pretty big news.
Here's a question.
Oh.
In Pokemon, you can catch a Pokemon and install them in the computer, yes?
Yeah.
We've got Pokemon Go coming out at some point. do you think Pokemon you catch in the real world with this Pokemon Go, you'll be able to upload and use in your game? Because that would be the closest to actual Pokemon experience you could ever have, really.
That's actually a pretty good idea. I hope they do that.
That'd be awesome.
Probably won't. Though they have just released a new Nintendo account.
Well, no, it'd be cool if you had, like, you could cross Pokemon over and on the Pokemon Go you level them up, in the game you level them up, but it's the same Pokemon, it's the same level, it's the same experience and everything. You know, it is your Pokemon. If you had, like, an account and, you know, all your Pokemon were sort of between games.
I mean, the interesting thing is that at the moment you're able to register for a new Nintendo account,
and on Pokken as well. Yeah, if you could use them in Pokken as well, that'd be good. Sorry.
Which is a new version of the Nintendo account that they've had previously. However, this one is able to communicate with the mobile devices, which has been ostensibly brought out at a very similar time to Miitomo, which is a mobile game-ish, in which you're able to have Miis communicate with other people's Miis, put Miis into the real world and take photos of them, kind of doing weird shit. I'm not overly sure what the point of it is, but it's coming out, and you need a new Nintendo account for it. So it's just this cool idea that finally your Nintendo account is able to communicate with everything else as well at the same time. Anyway.
Interesting times.
Indeed. So, yes.
That was actually an ancient Japanese curse. Chinese curse. May you live in interesting times. That was pretty much an insult of curse.
I can see why. So, yesterday they had a Nintendo Direct, as they do. And it was kind of to celebrate the 20th anniversary, and they had a load of shit. It was one of the worst Nintendo Directs I've ever seen. It was one old dude. He came up, he did the Satoru Iwata, and it was like, that dude, the guy's dead. You don't just walk into his shoes. And then next, they're showing off this video, and it was like, the Pokemon, and look at all these kids playing Pokemon. And I'm like, I'm a almost 30-year-old man. I play Pokemon. Represent me. Show me in the video. Show some dude that's got a big pimple on his face and a beard.
We were the original Pokemon.
Exactly.
People.
Show some dudes that are actually real guys, other than these stupid little poncy kids that I could kick in the face, kill. So they do all this. And then they turn around and say, oh yeah, and we're also doing Pokemon Sun and Moon. Here are these logos that you saw yesterday, if you're in any way bothered. And then they showed about 2 seconds worth of ridiculous concept art, which showed a Pokemon... they showed a Pokemon Center from the back. They showed one really cool thing, which was like a fire engine that had a Blastoise on the back, and it was like... cool. And they showed a couple of elements of Pokemon, but didn't actually show any new Pokemon. So in other words, they did a Nintendo Direct to announce a game, and they in no way showed the date that it's coming out, or any of the game. All they showed was that it's going out on Nintendo 3DS, which is the one thing that everybody was hoping it wasn't coming out on. Everybody wants it to come out on either the new console, the Wii U, or the new handheld console. Instead, they put it out on the one thing that nobody wants, which is the same shitty console that they brought out 2 other games now.
Done? My question is how many new Pokemon there are going to be. I'm sick of new Pokemon.
Again, they haven't announced that. There is going to be a new gen.
No, I know it.
This is definitely a new gen of Pokemon, so there will be new Pokemon. One has actually already been shown. It's this weird gear-like Pokemon.
Gear?
It's got gears on it. It's kind of a really
gear.
weird... Yeah. Gear.
I thought you said gear.
Gear.
What does that mean?
Gear.
Gear Pokemon. Gear Pokemon.
I think it's meant to be a legendary Pokemon as well.
Mechanic type Pokemon.
I can't remember what it's called. But still.
Ferrarion?
No, it's got like a weird thing.
Porsche. Lamborghini.
I don't know, I might be able to find it. Probably won't. So yeah, I mean, did you watch any of it?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I just saw the stuff filtering out, and it was just basically, there's new Pokemons. And I was like, they've given them different names now. I made a comment on Twitter, like a tweet on Twitter, about how they've gone past colours and letters, and now they're onto celestial objects.
Mm-hmm. Which I think is kind of cool. I'm happy with that. The fact that they've moved on from colours and stuff.
Well, I did comment that they're eventually going to get to Pokemon Sedna and Pokemon Series, and then I got belittled by Trix because apparently that wasn't funny.
Yep. But it's alright.
Wasn't supposed to be funny.
It's supposed to be educational.
It's supposed to be drawing reference. I was basically trying to make something random and drawing exaggerated effect. Never mind.
I'm aware of where you were trying to get the humour from. It just wasn't quite there.
It wasn't supposed to be funny.
It was definitely supposed to be funny.
It wasn't supposed to be funny.
So,
supposed to be satirical, cynical, whatever. I don't know. I don't know what's funny anymore. I just talk shit.
We're aware. We're all aware. So, that was yeah. Have you got anything to say on Pokemon, or is it just my rant?
Magina.
Magina. Yep. That's the new Pokemon, by the way. Magina. It's known as an artificial Pokemon, which suggests that it's created by humans, which is a weird element. Joins a very small select group of Pokemon that were created by humans. There's that trash Pokemon. I suppose that would be classed as created by humans. You could argue Muck.
Yeah, Grime and Muck.
Definitely Porygon.
Mewtwo.
Porygon 2, I would suggest, therefore. And Mewtwo.
Is there a Porygon 2?
Yeah, there's a Porygon 2. It was as though you took Porygon and then shaved it down and shaved all of the edges off.
Started anti-A-listing to Porygon.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's as far as... And this new Pokemon is going to be in the next Pokemon movie, which almost certainly won't see a Western release. Yay.
Pokemon movies have got some deep stuff in them.
First one was awesome.
The first Pokemon movie had Mewtwo say some really deep shit.
Yeah, Mewtwo is an interesting antagonist. He was good.
Which is surprising. No, in a Pokemon movie you could actually get intrigue like that. That surprises me. In a Pokemon film.
It was just a shame it was such a naff ending.
I've never actually seen it all over.
What?
I can never be asked with the Pokemon extended universe with all the anime and movies and stuff. I was just interested in the cards.
Fair enough. Have you ever played any of the games?
As in Fire Red?
Just any of the games.
Oh yeah, I played Fire Red.
Fair enough. Any others?
I played a bit of Yellow.
Fair dues. You need to
I played Pokemon Snap.
That was good. I learned Pokemon Snap. It was odd, and it's still the only game of its type. But
the only reason I played Pokemon Snap is because when I was abroad on a work trip, they had a rec room and they had an N64 in there. That was one of the only forms of entertainment there.
Nice. You could do worse than that. Have you ever played Gold and Silver? Or Soul Gold,
no.
Soul Silver and Heart Gold?
No, could be asked with the later generations.
You should try it. They're a massive improvement on the first generation.
They've got all the extra Pokemon in there.
Only 100.
100!
Yeah.
That's a lot! You're aware there was only 151 of the original ones, yes?
Indeed.
So that adds almost another... again.
I am aware of the maths involved.
Yes.
But it's still pretty good. I mean, it's a really good game. It's not too many more. When you start to get into later ones, you barely recognise anything that comes up. But Heart Gold and Soul Silver, brilliant games. Get them. Get the Poker Walker. Have fun.
Pokemon. Oh, that pedometer that levels up your Pokemon.
Yep.
You stick it in a washing machine then.
Do not do
Does
that.
it for you?
So, let's have a look at Resident Evil.
Let's.
4, 5, and 6 are coming to the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. Now, for those of you that may or may not know me and Nick, I have played Resident Evil 4. I don't imagine you have, Nick.
Not yet, I keep meaning to.
Me and Nick played through Resident Evil 5 on co-op.
That was funny. It wasn't a good game, but it was funny.
We have yet to play through Resident Evil 6, though it's definitely on our agenda.
Yes.
Things to do.
As soon as it comes on sale.
Yes, that is pretty much the only thing that's holding us back. So, what are your thoughts?
My thoughts are... just make backwards compatibility a thing. Because that's the only reason that these are coming out now. Is because everybody's... well, they want to make some more money, obviously. But everybody's... a lot of people have gone and got rid of the old consoles for some reason I don't even know. And, you know, they're bringing them to these. I mean, they're not even remasterings. They're just literally ports.
Yeah, I mean, they're ports of the HD versions of the games, aren't they?
Yeah, but what I mean is
specifically,
that...
I'm saying for Resident Evil 4, if you like. Because there are so many versions of that.
They've previously been remastered, but these haven't had any more work done to them.
Mm-hmm.
They're just going as are.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't really get my head around why they're re-releasing them for the next-gen consoles other than more money.
There's definitely the argument of more money. It should be noted that they're not even bringing them out as one group. They're bringing them out as separate games, and each one is going to cost £16. So if you like budget releases, but that's still half a game each. Pretty hefty. The interesting thing for me is that it looks as though they're trying to get all of the games, all of the Resident Evil games onto the one set of consoles. So they've also already released Resident Evil and Resident Evil 0. Resident Evil 2 is on the way. So you're then adding 4, 5 and 6 to the mix. That just leaves Resident Evil 3 as the odd one out.
Which some people consider to be the best one, don't they?
So,
that's the one with Nemesis, isn't it?
was that Nemesis? I don't even know. But, yeah, so it's kind of a nice thing that they're trying to bring out all of them on one console. The last console to have everyone up to that moment on was the GameCube, of course, which had Resident Evil 0 bought out natively, Resident Evil, which was the best version of Resident Evil 2 and 3 were both bought out as shitty re-releases. Resident Evil 4 was the best version of that as well.
You can't really say it's all of the Resident Evil games, though, because there are about 1,000 Resident Evil games.
Well, this is not including the mobile releases and Raccoon City.
I don't even mean them. I mean like Outbreak and like Code Veronica and everything.
Code Veronica is 3, is it not? Code Veronica X, I suppose.
No.
What?
They're actually separate games.
Are they?
Pretty sure.
Okay.
And you've got Resident Evil Revelations and stuff from Revelations 2 and...
True. Which are already out on the consoles.
We should specify all the main Resident Evil games, all the numbered ones.
Well, no, I mean, Revelations is again out on PlayStation 4. I don't know about Xbox One because I don't care. Revelations also being 3DS game. And a very good version of Resident Evil, I should add. I did also have a version of Resident Evil for my Game Boy. I think it was a Game Boy Color, to be exact. It was really weird. You kind of went around a... it was a 2D game, kind of a top-down thing, and you wandered around this weird cruise ship. But whenever you came into contact with a zombie, it would go into a first-person mode, and then you'd have to kind of hit them with a knife or shoot them, which was essentially just dictated by a slider and you pressing the button at the right time. Really, really weird game, but not bad.
Basically a quick-time event.
Yeah, pretty much, I suppose.
Of a sort.
Nowadays, yeah. Back then, it was revolutionary.
The times when a pseudo-quick-time event was revolutionary.
Well, a lot of games could be kind of boiled down to that, certainly at that kind of time.
Press button at correct time. FPS is basically quick-time events, you're saying. Press button before you die. This is...
If you want to employ ridiculous ad absurdum, then yes, they are.
Ridiculous. Don't you speak Latin to me, boy! I
speak what I want, when I want, regardless of whether it's dead. Shall we talk about Naughty Dog?
Yes.
So, Uncharted 4 Everybody,
It's got a new trailer, blah, blah, blah,
out.
blah, blah, I don't care.
Shut up. It's a game that's coming out. It looks good. I mean, I don't know if you've had a look at any of the stuff. It looks interesting. It looks cool. However, the very interesting thing...
It looks pretty, but then don't all Naughty Dog games.
True.
They're very good at graphics.
But they're also very good at, I don't know, just gameplay.
Yeah, but they said they're very good at graphics and making the game look nice, and also set pieces. So much to the extent that they've actually come out and said that they make the set pieces of the Uncharted games and then build a story around them.
Fair enough. They are some of the greatest set pieces ever seen in any game. I mean, the game is basically a roller coaster of set pieces, and you know, you can enjoy that or you can hate that. That's completely fine. But it at the end of the day, it makes a game that a lot of people seem to enjoy.
I mean, maybe I'd appreciate it more if I actually got around to playing Uncharted 2 and 3, but...
You definitely would. Uncharted 1 really is the bastard child of the game. Yeah,
I played Uncharted 1, and I basically played Uncharted 1 because everybody was saying, oh, it was around the time Uncharted 2 came out. And everybody was saying, oh, man, it was fucking amazing, yeah! And I was like, okay, I'll play Uncharted 1. If I like it, I'll get Uncharted 2. I played it, it was like, well, it wasn't bad, but it wasn't revolutionary, it was just kind of standard. Yeah, it was fun while I was with it, but... it was a bit short and not entirely enthralling, so I was like, fuck it. And eventually I got around to buying all three of them on the cheap, and I've still not got around to playing the other two yet.
I mean, Uncharted 2 for me is still one of the best games I've ever played. It's definitely in my top 10.
I should really play them. I should really make the effort to play them, because as it is, the PlayStation 3 exclusive titles that I actually really enjoy. And Infamous, Resistance,
God of War,
no,
Killzone.
Okay, no, I don't enjoy
Uncharted.
It's not all of the PlayStation 3 exclusive titles, but the fact that
Little Big Planet.
No, okay, two franchises on that were exclusive to PlayStation 3 are my favourite franchises on the PlayStation 3. And they're exclusive to it.
So, the Uncharted 4 trailer came out. Yeah, I watched the trailer. Yeah. It was an interesting trailer. It's bugger all, really. The interesting thing from it was the fact that within the trailer there was an image that you just saw in the that was kind of an integral part of the trailer. It was shown for probably a couple of seconds. However, that image was actually a piece of concept art for Assassin's Creed 4. And Naughty Dog just weren't aware.
How did it?
So,
how did it get there? What has Uncharted 4 got to do with pirates anyway? What?
So, one of the artists for Assassin's Creed pointed it out on Twitter, the fact that this was one of his images.
Great place to point it out, mate.
So Naughty Dog immediately took down the original trailer and then posted up a new version which didn't have the image in it.
Yeah, it just says here, no two ways about it, we fucked up.
Yeah, I mean, the exact quote, no two ways about it, we fucked up. In our eagerness to get the story trailer out, we made a regrettable mistake and didn't thoroughly vet the artwork used for an in-game painting. We've already updated the trailer and we hold all artistry in high regard and take full responsibility for having allowed this to happen. We want to sincerely apologise to everyone at Ubisoft. Pardon, sorry?
How did it even happen? Did somebody just have concept art for Assassin's Creed 4 lying around on their desktop and accidentally bought it? What?
Yeah,
I bet there were some people who thought it was going to be a crossover between Assassin's Creed and Uncharted. And Nathan Drake turns out to be an assassin.
My suggestion is that they use that concept art as concept art themselves. That they use that concept in Assassin's Creed 4. and that it was left in because, as far as they were concerned, it was a concept for their game. It's just that they didn't make it. That's my guess.
Basically, you're saying Uncharted 4 is ripping off Assassin's Creed.
Pretty much.
Considering Assassin's Creed rips off Assassin's Creed these days.
Yeah.
Poorly, may I add.
Yeah. Yeah, and as I say, my favourite quote is just the tweet, "No two ways about it, we fucked up." I think that's fair. If game developers came out
a mistake.
if game developers came out and said something like that, I would respect them.
Yeah,
if Konami came out and just said, "Look, we fucked up," I'd be like, "Oh, fair dues, Konami. Go on, go make your pachinkos." Instead, they act like dickheads, and therefore I will call them out on it as regularly as humanly possible. Though they haven't said anything for a while, so.
Have they learned to just shut up, or have their shareholders, vetoed their ability to speak?
I would suggest that it's either shareholders or marketing team that they have just said, but just please stop. Just don't do anything.
It's making it worse.
Yeah, just don't do anything for a while so that we can get shit together. Thank you.
Yeah. Oh dear, that's really funny. How the fuck did that even happen?
Really weird one. But as I say, it's one of my favourite. For me, that's my favourite news piece this week. I couldn't give a shit about most of the other crap, but that is an interesting thing to have happened. Because I've never seen anything like that happen before.
Yeah, but
especially
everything that's like
a big
fluff
trailer.
piece. That's not particularly groundbreaking. It's just like, whoops, we did a whoopsie.
Yeah, and they did something wrong. They got called out on it. They immediately replaced it, and they said, "Yeah, we did something wrong."
Yeah,
that doesn't happen.
Basically, a mistake was made, and it was concluded amicably.
Yeah, good times. No one was sued in the making of this trailer.
If went like that, the world would be okay.
Yeah. So no companies were sued in the making of this trailer. Yeah. Yeah. So, what do you think, Nick? Is that about done?
Well, you wanted to talk about MK 1, 2, and 3 for some strange reason.
I said if we had enough time, and yeah, you obviously think we do. So.
We've got enough time. I want to see what you can pull out of your arse for this, because you said, "Oh yeah, we could talk about this." I don't know what to say.
So
I'm just going to let you.
Thanks for this, Nick.
Squirm for a little bit. Well, I eat a biscuit.
I see Dickerson's back. So we had Mortal Kombat 1, 2, and 3.
I eat on air.
Interestingly, a couple of years ago, Ed Boon came out and said that in Mortal Kombat 1 there were still things that hadn't been found. Now everybody just said that Ed Boon was being a dick. Turns out that he actually wasn't. Stop eating, you douche. In Mortal Kombat 1, 2 and 3 arcade machines, it turns out that there is an EJB, Ed Boon, hidden menu. And it's only just being found. This is 20 years after the games came out. It's only just being found out that there's a secret hidden menu in these games.
That's longevity for you.
It's amazing, isn't it? Really. I mean, the fact is that the code for these games has been out in the wild for years upon years, and it has been crawled through.
Back in the day, people didn't pull apart stuff like they do these days, though.
Well, no, but these days they still pull apart games from back then, especially Mortal Kombat. I mean, God. Yeah, it turns out that by pressing Player 1 and Player 2 block buttons specifically in a particular sequence, you can access this Ed Boon secret menu. In this menu, you are able to essentially access any part of the game. You're able to kind of fast forward to anybody's ending, or I don't know, just any weird shit, really.
Basically, it's a dev menu.
Yeah, but specifically for Ed Boon.
His specific menu.
And it's just so nice to think that there's still things that we haven't seen.
What else could be hiding amongst various different games in the future?
Exactly. There could still be something random in Pokemon. I mean, there definitely isn't, but yeah.
There definitely isn't, no. Pokemon has been pulled apart, so much to the extent that there's so many theories and guides for stuff to get like Mew, and that just don't work.
I mean, interestingly, there's a heck of a lot of stuff about how to pick up shinies, because getting shinies is such an integral part of the Pokemon scene, the hardcore Pokemon scene, with people literally just having 3 or 4 Game Boys sitting there, constantly trying to find a shiny Ponyta or whatever else. Yeah, the algorithms for actually getting shiny Pokemon are very well known, and there are loads of different ways that you can go about trying to kind of minimise the chance of you not getting a shiny Ponyta.
I had hard enough time trying to get a bloody Pikachu.
They were pretty easy to find.
Not right at the start of the game.
Well, not in certain versions of the game.
Pokemon
Really?
Red, in the first, the first forest area you go into.
Oh, you literally can't find one there.
You can.
Can?
There's like a 2% chance of finding one. That's the
don't
earliest
believe you.
possible time you can find a Pikachu. Generally you find Caterpies, Weedles, Metpods, but there's like a very low chance that you'll come across a Pikachu. And I've done it. I've wandered around that place for hours on end, and it's so frustrating when you actually find a Pikachu, and you either kill it or it escapes, and it's like, you fuck! But yeah, it's there. I can't remember what the place is called though.
The first forest is Viridian Forest.
Viridian Forest, yeah.
Yeah. Fair enough.
There are Pikachus in there, at least on the red version.
Fair enough. Very good. I wasn't aware.
Yeah.
And one of the interesting things in this Ed Boon menu is that there's a thing just called Hello.
Hello.
And if you bring that up, it brings up just a list of people to say hello to.
Okay.
It says hello to Mum, Frank, Sonia, Michelle. It just goes through a list of names. But as I say, the first one's Mum. I appreciate that.
It's kind of like that bit in Quake 2 when you finish the game and you kill the Macron, and you can actually go. It's not hidden very well at all. Everybody knows about it. But where you go down and you've got like billboards with the names of devs on it and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Nice. Fair enough.
Then if you go further on, you find a tank with 2 human slaves in front of a big pool with 2 women with him. All the women in the game, at least, they're kind of like augmented snake women. Yeah.
Lovely.
And it's there for no rhyme or reason. But then again, it is id Software, and they're the ones who did put John Carmack's face on a spike at the end of Doom 2. John Romero.
Oh, yeah. Fair enough.
Who's John Carmack?
Cool.
Seriously, why have I got them 2 mixed up?
I honestly don't know.
I can't remember. Anyway, have we ranted for long enough this week? We've actually managed to get through an episode. We have a time that we like to come on and start. Generally, it's at least an hour after that when we actually start recording. Today, we managed to do it within 20 minutes. And today, we actually managed to pretty much do the entire webcast without going on non sequitur jaunts through the depths of surrealism. And this surprises me. We've actually managed more or less to stay on topic.
Pretty much, though. There were very few kidnapped children jokes or anything this week.
You're the only one who brings up... I don't even know why you do it. Just to upset people and make me feel uncomfortable.
Oh no, it's just the latter. So, we've been the Rational Gamers, and we have talked about games.
We have.
Irrational.
For once. And I've managed to... This entire biscuit... This is all I've eaten of my biscuit for the entire webcast, so...
Good.
I'm getting better.
Stop eating. So, I've been Rational Mart.
I have been Rational Nick.
You still
Check out our other stuff,
douche.
like, subscribe and all that jazz. The usual stuff.
Yeah, please subscribe. Thanks, guys. Bye.
Bye-bye.